Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day of 30 NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking or actually discussing with live chat. I figured we'd do something different. I don't want to kind of like do the same structure of doing a news story and then talking. And I want to kind of watch videos on YouTube, and I want to watch it with you guys. You guys suggest. I have a bunch of videos. We can get to these videos, or you guys could suggest videos in the little bar up above. Just write the name. You don't have to put the link. Just like if you know the name of the video, just take that name, copy paste in the thing. I'll copy paste that into the search, and then we'll check out the video. Travis, I'm not gonna watch Skill Up's review because it's like 19 minutes long, but we will watch Atlas Fallen. It was one of the choices I had. I actually had the one up before you suggested it, but I'm gonna watch someone else's because it's shorter. So I don't want to watch 19-minute long videos because then we get, a 19-minute long video will be like an hour worth of discussion. So we're going to try to get to other ones. But good morning. We're going to try different things on this channel every once in a while. So we'll see if this works out. Morning, Stealth. Morning, Travis. Morning, Water. Got a trash panda outside your door. I live on a farm. We get a bunch of different animals. I get a raccoon that just comes and eats the cat food right next to the door. And I walk outside. He doesn't run. Okay. Let's see here. What's going on, Daniel? All right. So the first thing I got up that I want to look at is I didn't play this yet myself. Was Exoprimal. Okay, Exoprimal is a game. This is gameplay from IGN. We're gonna watch this a little bit. I'm gonna lower the volume just a bit, but we're gonna watch Exoprimal. We're going to look at Exoprimal and see the gameplay and kind of look at it a little bit here and see, if you guys think it's something that you'd be enjoying or not, or if it's just one of those games that are kind of just, whatever. All right, so here we go.
Will begin shortly. Have a super day. You will now engage in a dinosaur combat test.
Now, we saw some gameplay footage of this months and months ago when it first came out, and I was just like, oh, cool, lots of dinosaurs. And this does seem like a game that would be fun to play with a bunch of friends. But this is like a day or two kind of keep you entertained. I don't know if this is a game that you play for tens of hours, hundreds of hours. I don't know. Each their own, because someone might play this for hundreds of hours. Let me lower just a little bit. Water says, I like the PvE/PvP aspect. Is it PvP, though, Water? It's more like competitive, isn't it? Yeah, but I'll chalk this up, Travis, to... Did you ever play the game Second Extinction? It's a dinosaur game, open world dinosaur game. You do kind of, missions and whatnot, and there's just like hordes of dinosaurs that come at you and you fight them. You fight each other as well as a team. Interesting. Is that a different game mode?
Dinosaur call. You are completing objectives faster than...
So you can play with people and bots.
Follow the Watcher. Proceed to next mission.
No, it's not PC only. It's on Xbox. I believe it's on PlayStation as well.
Initiating dinosaur call mission. Preparing combat.
World Z game. Exoprimal, but without zombies. Yeah, it's dinosaurs instead. That gun is shooting for 3. 3 damage.
Summoning raptors. Summoning pteranodons.
I'm gonna fast forward this just a little bit. We're gonna watch it like 2.5 speed. So they're gonna move a little faster. So just watching gameplay, seeing what it's all about. just trying to see like the what it is. Right? Okay, hold on. I want to pause there for a second. He opened up a menu and you see a whole bunch. Okay, so it looks like you can swap your suit on the fly. There's 4 assaults, 3 tanks, and 3 support type of characters that you can pick from. It does say suit level, suit experience that you have. Got modules, and it's also got the rig that you want to use for the mech.
You are completing objectives faster than enemy. Proceed to next mission.
Well, you could jump out of your suit as well.
Preparing combat area. Please wait. Summon raptors.
Now you're like a ninja.
Summon raptors.
Well, my point, Travis, was Second Extinction is a fun game, but it's a fun game for a very short period of time, right? Like, it's not a game that you would play for hundreds of hours. Like, I do believe this looks fun. It does look fun. And number one, that's what video games should be, right? They should at least be fun. But that's, like, subjective, right? Because if a game is created and hundreds of people are liking it or millions of people are liking it, there's something there, you know?
Summon raptors. Summon raptors.
This feels like a movie pitch. They're like, let's make a game where a wormhole opens up and thousands of dinosaurs come out and you're in a mech warrior suit. And everyone's like, that sounds amazing. This you know what this would be? If this was the 80s, they don't do this anymore. If this was the 80s, this would have been an excellent TV show. Exoprimal. It's a group of warriors protecting the world from dinosaurs, right? And then you would see the animated series. They would jump up and transform and hold up the thing, and and they would make toys just based off of this. This would be wonderful. This would be up in the category of like Transformers and G.I. Joe and Exo Squad. Like, that's what this would be. But here we are in 2023, and this will be a fly-by-night game that people will forget about in a year.
Summon raptors.
People would have fun, and a decade from now, people will be like, what was that name? Not even a decade. 5 years from now, they'll be like, what was that game that they played? It was pretty cool. It was a fun game. It was you were like a mech guy. You were in a robot. You fought dinosaurs, and someone's going to be like, was it Exocide, Dino Squad? It was Exoprimal. Oh, Exoprimal. Yeah, Exoprimal. Featuring Dolph Lundgren, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Sylvester Stallone. Right. Like, this would be, like, think about this. This is 100% a hit in the 80s. Right? This is a show that was just made just to sell the toys. This would be dope. Not anymore. This is a throwaway title. And I feel sad for it. It does look interesting. Alright, you got the Triceratops. Okay, so you got some little boss battles. I know Fate Walker, friend of ours, he played this as well, and he said it was actually pretty good. So there's 2 bots and 2 regular people playing the game right now. Is the beta still going on for this game, or is it over? You know what would be good or cool? An Exo Squad mech game. Exo Squad would be a cool game. I don't know if it would be successful nowadays, though, Water. Yeah, I saw that video, Stealth. I saw the video. They say the toys will probably be coming out like October 1st, which I don't know if that's true because October 1st is a Sunday. And they're talking about rumors of Transformers Reactivate that could come out sometime in like June or July as in like a closed beta.
New energy cartridges will appear soon. Summoning Dilophosaurus.
What's going on, boss?
Summoning raptors.
We have some videos that we're going to watch of Diablo this morning. They're short videos, but we're going to watch them.
You are at great risk of being attacked. Stay alert at all times.
And what's going to happen here, because I'm playing videos on YouTube and our channel, some videos might get copyright claimed or whatever. And what happens then is I can't monetize the video. If that happens, I get like a little tag on it, and I either have to fix it and edit out the parts or delete the video or whatnot. So what's going to happen is if you're here live, the whole point of this is to have a conversation about what it is. This is more of a community thing, right? So if you're in the chat now, in the live chat, and you're a member, if this happens where the copyright claims and whatnot happens, I'm going to take this video after the fact and probably make it either members only or basically just delete it. So if you're here live, you get to enjoy it. If you miss this show, then you won't get to see this at all. Yeah, we were playing Diablo 3 last night, boss, and I wanted to play more Diablo, and I can't play Diablo 4, so I was like, let me go to Diablo 3. It's like night and day. It's like night and day, and I really want to play Diablo 4. Dave Rose says, I didn't like Diablo 4 beta, won't be buying after playing. What didn't you like about it, Dave? What were the main things? And did you like Diablo 3? That's the question. Did you play Diablo 3?
Hostile exofighter eliminated. Energy acquired.
Yeah, I see your messages. You're talking about the ones that you're submitting?
Exofighter eliminated. Energy acquired. Initiating environmental reset. Dinosaurs will be removed. Summoning gas dinosaurs. Hostile exofighter eliminated. Energy acquired. New energy cartridges will appear soon. Summoning stealth neosaurs.
Couldn't get into 3. 3 is... see, I didn't play 3 for the longest time. I bought it on super sale. I was like, you know, it's totally worth it. I already got my money's worth for the game. It's very cartoony. And actually, what I said last night when we were playing, Diablo 3 feels very arcadey compared to Diablo 4. It's just super repetitive and just basically a boring hack and slash. So Dave, did you play any of the other Diablos? Diablo 4 is definitely, and again, this is me not defending the game. I mean, I'm not trying to convince you into liking the game in any way, shape, or form. Look at that T-Rex. Diablo 4 is definitely more casually based compared to the other Diablos. No, I've never played any other Diablo games, and it was the first I've ever tried after a friend recommended it. Got it. Yeah, so it's right on par with what Diablo is. They're not like trying to reinvent the wheel of Diablo, right? There's a lot of games that because of Diablo, there's Path of Exile. Because of Diablo, there's Lost Ark. Because of Diablo, because of Diablo franchise, there's so many other games that became like Diablo, which now Diablo kind of took a backseat to some of the games. You can be the dinosaur.
Summoning raptors. Summoning stealth neosaurs.
When this game comes out, because it is coming out to Game Pass, I'm going to play it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot, give you my thoughts when I play it. It does seem interesting, but it does seem like a game that you would play, and it would be like a weekend play. Maybe. And when I say a weekend, I'm not talking about 24 hours each day. I'm talking like popping in 1 hour, 2 hours here and there. Like this is a 12 to 15 hour game, maybe 20, and then you put it down. So what do you guys think here? What do you guys think of Exoprimal? Is this something that you guys, first of all, and this is a good question, right? Because it's on Game Pass. It's I don't know if it's going to be on PlayStation Plus. Let me know if you're on PlayStation, if this is coming out for PlayStation Plus. Is this something you would pay money for? Or is this something that you would wait for on sale? Is this something that you would play on an actual like type of Game Pass kind of subscription model? Right, so if you had to pay for this water, you wouldn't, but you would give it a shot because it's on Game Pass. Well, that's a good thing, though, Dave, that you got to play it and decide, and that's the bigger thing, right? Like, you got to play the game, and you got to choose without spending money if you wanted to play it or not, right? So, I mean, obviously you pre-ordered or you got a chicken sandwich to get the closed beta, but the demo of the game, the small version that you got to play of it was good because now you got to make a really good decision of going, yeah, you know what, it's not for me. I just run around, bash the same button to attack over and over, and find chests. Find not enjoy it. Do you play any games, open world games or looters, Dave? Friend gave me a code from his sandwich. Yeah. There you go. There's IGN's look at the Exoprimal mission there. So, Exoprimal. I want to look at some of these Diablo videos real fast. Is this the... let me look at this one. Okay, this one, first up, is Diablo 4 spells are broken. Okay, I posted this, and if you guys don't know this, let me make an announcement again just to make sure. We have a brand new channel in our Discords, Diablo 4. It's under Everything Gaming. So there's a tab, Everything Gaming, and down below there's a Diablo 4 tab. Make sure if you guys are talking about Diablo 4 on our channel, instead of going to the general chat and then filling general chat, I mean, general chat's general, right? So if you're focusing on Diablo 4, I made a whole section for you. I've posted a couple videos inside of the Diablo 4, which we're going to watch right now on stream. So basically, if you're talking about Diablo or you want to have a conversation about Diablo, put it in the Diablo 4 channel. Interesting looking, but it isn't an online only. So you have my answer. I don't know if it's online only if you're talking about Exoprimal because there are bots that you can play. So I don't think you have to play it online. I'm not sure, though, Travis. I didn't do the research to look into it. I play it if it's free, but not to play it. No way I'm paying for it. For Exoprimal, yeah. The salty sandwich from what you said. Yeah, it was very salty. Well, boss, I don't eat a lot of salt, right? And I also don't eat at a lot of fast food places. So, like, fast food is so salty. So salty. Let's see here. Demos are good. Idea and use everything got one. This is why I love when we used to get them. I used to buy those magazines back in the old days, Travis, where you buy like the PlayStation magazine or the gaming magazine, and then they would have a disc in the back and it would have like 5 games and demos on it. That's was an awesome format to do. And now we have digital games and these companies, and this is why Sarge and I take a stance of they try to just toss you a game and make you pay full price for it, and it's broken, buggy, and unfinished, and then you can't get your money back, right? If games are very if they're and then I give props to Blizzard for doing an open beta. Any game that does an open beta or gives a demo of a game, they're showing you, hey, look, we have nothing to really hide here. You can test the game out if you want. But then they could hide stuff by after the fact, because this is a practice they do as well in the video game industry, where they change things after it launches, right? And with the online stuff. So Gabe says, like, yeah, I played Borderlands games and I played Anthem, Marvel's Avengers, to name some. So, okay, so let me ask you this, right? You said you walked around in Diablo and it was repetitive because you were hitting the same button, and there's multiple buttons. I know you're being very generalistic. So what's the difference in Borderlands running around shooting the same weapon and then collecting chests and doing that, or Marvel spamming the same abilities and then collecting chests, right? So the reason I bring this up is certain games click for people, certain games don't click for people, right? And this is why I said certain games, like when you see the wizard behind the curtain, I always use this analogy, right? The great and powerful Wizard of Oz is behind that curtain. Everyone thinks he's a great, powerful wizard, but then Toto sees the feet and pulls the curtain open, and they're like, oh my God, right? If a game can keep you focused on whatever they're doing, and they do a really good job of just looking like they're the great and powerful wizard, but once you see that there's something that breaks it for you, and it's weird because certain games you're pressing the same button as you're playing the other game with certain hitting the same button, but one game works and one game doesn't, and that's different for each person. I just want to know, like, what broke it for you in Diablo compared to a Marvel's Avengers or an Anthem or Borderlands. Even single player games are required a connection for the most part. Yeah. That's one thing that Marvel's Avengers did well, that you don't need online for it, so you can play that. And I remember saying that in the very beginning. I said, this is why I'm also one of the reasons I'm getting it. Isn't Exoprimal open beta? It wasn't an open beta. I think it was a closed beta, if I'm not mistaken. I think. And we also know, we don't know what type of game it is, if they're selling microtransactions or anything like that. Is it a free-to-play game originally? I have no idea, Travis. Or if they're charging you to pay for it. I guess I could look it up real fast. Let's see. Exoprimal video game. Purchase Exoprimal on Steam. Yeah, it's a full-price game, $60. $60. Pre-purchase Exoprimal. Exoprimal Deluxe is $70. That to me doesn't look like a $60 game. Again, it looks like a small little purchase, pick up on a discount. I started playing Diablo Immortal now because of Diablo 4. Oh boy. That's what they wanted, Stealth. Pulling out Wizard of Oz dudes going old school today. I've always said that, Travis. I've always used the Wizard of Oz as an example of, you look at something and you think this is an awesome game, you're infatuated with it. It's the great and powerful wizard, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong with that game, and you're all of a sudden you peek behind the curtain, you're like, yeah, I don't believe in this game anymore. Jesse says, Travis, Exoprimal confirmed online-only game. There you go. There you go. So you can play with bots, but it's still an online-only game. That's interesting. This is true. I really like a game, but if I watch enough streamers that talk about things, it's like an awakening, and it starts to bother me. Yeah, and that's just it. Sometimes it happens, and sometimes it doesn't, boss. I don't know what it is, right? Sometimes something hides it very well, and you're a big movie guy, right? So there's certain movies you watch. And you can watch it, and you're like, oh, this is a flawless movie, right? Some other movies you watch, and something pulls you out. If it's a jump cut, an edit, the music, the story, and all of a sudden if you never pick up your phone or never think or and I'm talking about watching in theaters or watching at home, right? When you're watching a movie and you like the movie, you just sit there and you watch the movie. You're like engulfed into that thing. But then sometimes you pick up that phone because you lose interest. Something breaks you from that movie, and it's different for every person. I mean, all games are repetitive to a point, especially if it's a long game. Diablo just could not hold my interest. Didn't care about the characters, the lore. I hated the camera angle. I got you. But maybe that's just it, Dave. Maybe it's the camera angle, right? The isometric type of stuff. And that's what's off. Like Krebsy complains about that all the time. He's like, I can't get into isometric type of games. And maybe that's what broke it for you. Maybe because of, maybe that's the Toto, right, for you. Like the isometric is the deal breaker. You're like, you started looking at the game going, I don't like isometric. And then you started picking the stuff that you didn't like about the game. That's cool. I'm just asking. I'm not trying to win you over. I'm in the same way right now. I like Diablo 4, but it's out in June. Even though this weekend I'm going to try to play it again with the Druid and Necromancer. I don't know. Like, because right now I don't play Diablo 3 every day. Right? I'm interested in it, but I don't know if I'm going to get Diablo 4 from day one. As a content creator, we had this conversation. I might pick it up, but $90 is a hard sale for me to get it 4 days early. Right? I might just wait for the $70 version and get it, 4 days later or a week or so afterwards. I don't know. A lot of people don't want to watch someone play a new game because they're going to be playing the new game themselves anyway. It's the builds and the guides and all that stuff to make content. That's the part. Which does not make it into my list of games I'm excited to buying this year, which is lengthy already. I agree, and this is why I said I don't know if I could spend $90. I'm looking for Jedi Survivor. That's a $70 game that I'm going to pick up. Right? There's if Transformers comes out later this year, I might, even though it's supposed to be free to play, I might spend some money on that. What else is it coming out? There's another game I was interested in later this year. Oh God, I forget what the name of it is now. There's like one other game, and I usually only buy like 3 games, right? 3 games a year. Everything else is on like Game Pass. Oh, Suicide Squad. I'm going to pick up as well. Yeah, I hate isometric. Just not a fan of it. Yeah, and that, I think that is what would break you from that. It's weird that I'm really an isometric guy myself, but I love Diablo series and Lost Ark. Well, if the gameplay is good enough for you, boss, right? That's probably why you like it. It ruins the visuals for me. Everything is so pulled out. You see all the detail on the characters. Yeah, Path of Exile's like that. Last Epoch is like that. I have to be really interested in the premise for setting. Like Weird West got my interest, but not Diablo. Old West, D&D. Well, that's another thing, right? So, and I've said this before, Travis, right? So if there's a game like Destiny, which is like fantasy or futuristic, right? Or sci-fi, someone might not like that. But if they make the exact same game in like a medieval times, someone's like, oh, dude, I'm all about that. Or if someone made that about pirates, someone's like, oh, I'm all about that. It's like certain time periods or set pieces just don't work for certain people. And again, I said this last night. If they make a Marvel's game, which is basically Ultimate Alliance, like Diablo, I'm in. If they take that game and make it Transformers like that, like Diablo, I'm in. Right? If you make an isometric Transformers game that's like Diablo Looter, I'll probably play it. If you make a Marvel's game like Ultimate Alliance, a looter like that, I'm in it. Right? I would drop Diablo to play those games because I'm interested in those franchises. Jedi Survivor, AEW Wrestling, Spider-Man 2. Oh, AEW Wrestling. That's a game that I would have bought in the past, but I won't pick up now because I'm just not for me anymore. I just sent you a game to watch. Game is coming out this Friday. All right, cool. I have a friend who loves Dragon Age but doesn't care about Mass Effect. Right, and that's just it. All right, so this next thing I want to watch has to do with Diablo. Okay, this guy found out that the wider screen you have, the more advantage you have in the game. Okay, now obviously they'll probably patch this and fix this, but he made a video of this. It's a short video, 3 minutes long. But the wider screen you have, okay, the better you have to move. So think about this in PvP or anything like that, right? So let's check this out.
around a little bit with mobility abilities, right? And I was wondering because the teleport of Sork seems to be,
Well, Super Dave.
you know, having no limit whatsoever where you can go. But right now, as you can see, I've made a window because I don't have a widescreen monitor, and I made it as wide as I possibly can. I can't make it wider. This is probably the limit as well. Just by doing this, my teleport goes literally on the other edge of the screen like this. You see how far that goes? That is wild. So that means the wider your monitor, the further you can teleport. So just as a comparison, I'm at this brazier right now. I teleport on the edge of my screen. I'm like a little bit on the left of this torch. Now if we go back and we go to a normal, you know, windowed full screen, we'll go to this little brazier here that is broken. Around the same, and we teleport to the very edge of my screen. I'm not even close
That's
to this thing.
That's crazy.
And right before I was here.
Okay. That's crazy. You see how much distance he lost because he went to full screen? Because your screen can't see it. So the wider screen you are, the farther you can move. Wait, there's more.
Blizzard. And to make matters worse, you can also teleport over terrain with this, obviously. So right now, this is where I just was on the camp, right?
Look at that.
I can teleport literally across this entire forest here. Let's try that from the other direction again, which you can see right now. I'll do it from this direction as well. Easy. Now we go back and we go into a windowed full screen. And we'll try that again.
Look, he can't even click on it now.
Target location is invalid. Maybe I can do it from here somehow. Maybe in the very top left of the corner. But as you can see already, it's way harder to do that. Yeah. So what
Peasants and gods,
is basically this, okay? Anywhere you can look, you can teleport to. So the wider your screen is, the further you can teleport. And I'm sure there are spots in the game that are incredibly OP to traverse in a dungeon or something that you can literally teleport across with a super wide screen like that.
Right. So think about this, right? So in a dungeon, let's say you have a locked door. Okay. In a full screen, you wouldn't see the other side of the door. But in a wide screen, you would see the other side of the door, and you could click on it and just surpass the door, right? That's just one of the examples that you could do. So this is broke. Okay, this is broke, especially if you're playing in like a PvP match and you're wide screen, okay, and someone's attacking you, and then all of a sudden you teleport clear across the map where they can't get you and whatnot. This would be super OP and broke. This is one of those things that if it was competitive, you know, you could have the best graphics card in the world, and you're playing a first-person shooter game, and you're playing like Tarkov, or you're playing some PUBG or whatever, and people are lowering their graphics so they can see across the map, so all the shrubbery goes away. This is one of those things, right? You're playing your game now because you don't have a widescreen computer monitor, so you're going to Windows mode. Excuse me. You're going to Windows mode, and you're making your screen smaller but stretched out wider, just so you can move and have an advantage over somebody else, right? That's what type of thing this is. So it's just something I wanted to show you. I thought this was interesting. I saw Asmongold react to it, and I was like, you know what? That's crazy. And I didn't want to watch the video of Asmongold on top of him reacting to the thing, so I just went to the actual content creator and watched his actual thing. That's crazy, though. Okay? And it's little things like that you look at Blizzard and you're like, come on, dude. Like, how is this a thing? How is this a thing that you're coding that you put in and go, oh, yeah, as far as the screen can go, that's as far as you could warp, instead of going, parameters are 15 meters from where your point is. You see what I'm saying? So weird. So weird. So what do you guys think about that? Don't touch the resolution. Ultra wide is awesome. Man, there's so many companies trying to be nostalgic. I want a new X-Men Legends. That'd be cool. Difference between Diablo's peasants and gods. D4 is a good game, but poor making broken mechanics within the game. Right. Well, I think all games. Look, if you put your game out to the public, this is why people do beta tests, right? You can get play tests and find out a lot about stuff because it's a perfect world. Because as a developer, you're going to have content creators make content, right? He made content on this. He's getting paid on this, right? Just to put it in perspective, this video 2 days ago has been seen 7,300 times. Now, he's only got 21,000 subscribers. Now, Asmongold's video got seen more than that. Okay, so it's content, man, and developers look at it and go, "Oh, we didn't catch that. Thanks." Right? That's someone they should have paid for. They should have paid. Thanks for the bug testing. Let's see here. My interest in D4 is even offline only version. Love the blunder. It was the same with Lost Ark PvP. Widescreen was better, so you could see more when fighting players. Some abilities, you could also use them further, which is just dumb, isn't that, boss? But people are going to figure it out. I always talk about the internet and gamers and like just players, etc., or like water, right? Water is always going to find a way, right? It's going to roll down the hill. It's going to go underneath the door. It's going to find a way to find the cracks, and it's always, and that's what gamers are. Gamers will always find a way to make the game easy, to get an advantage, to get a cheat. Always going to find something. Limit the distance in coding. This is a beta. Right, Quintar. Like, I don't understand, though. You're like, yeah, I'm going to make a teleportation, but you don't put any parameters on the teleportation. You're like, yeah, you can teleport as far as the screen goes. It's like the person that was coding that, you got to think about this, right? They're coding the game. They're not on a wide screen, or maybe they were on the wide screen. They're like, yeah, I'm going to teleport over here. And then when it shrinks down to a standard screen, they can only go 10 feet. But if you're on a wide screen, you can go 50 feet. It's like, why isn't that in the code that you can only go 10 feet when you teleport? It's kind of weird. Then there's crossplay. Right? Then there's crossplay and there's PvP. So then people on PC are going to have an advantage. And again, PCs always have an advantage with the quicker mouse or reaction time or whatever else. But this is why PvP, I think, is going to be a problem inside of Diablo. I do. I think it's going to be a problem because PvP is linked to PvE and because of the story, you're going to get buffs on certain things. You're going to get nerfs on certain things. This is what's going to happen. It's going to be a whole other kind of ecosystem inside of Diablo 4 for the PvP because someone's going to be like, well, the sorcerer's too OP with this ability in PvP. You can't defend against it, blah, blah, blah. But that's just the way it is, right? Because PvP, open world, PvE, it's all in the same thing. I see why I would pay you to figure out something. You'll do it anyways. Exactly, Travis. Oh, you thought I meant to water the person? No. I meant water the actual element of water. What, Telly was using because I was also in the sorcerer and could only teleport like half my screen. Right. And it's just weird, Tony, but obviously someone's going to see this and be like, hey, Keith, did you know you could do this? Oh, man, I forgot to code for widescreen. Yeah. I just said go to the edge of the screen, so that's all it's going to do. Right? Players finding out what the meta, I will go onto YouTube videos, and then everyone else is using the same meta, broken. Then right, but Jesse, then what happens is, this is what happened in Destiny all the time. Someone found a gun was OP, someone uses that gun, makes a video, everyone sees the gun's OP, 80% of the, like 20% of the people are using it, and then all of a sudden the video goes viral, 80% of the people go, and then Bungie nerfs the gun. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Can't stand it when PvP nerfing affect PvE. Should be completely separate from each other. Yep, it should, but it won't, right? Because there are PvP sections in this game, right? And it's always been a problem. There's a problem in Division, problem in Destiny, problem in... It's if you connect PvP to PvE, you're always going to have issues. All right, next video I want to watch for Diablo. I want you to check out this build, right? People said barbarians were broke, okay? Now, this is DM, Dark Microtransaction. I used to watch him for Marvel Future Revolution content, okay? This kid knows, or I should say kid, this guy, he's like in his 30s. This guy knows, like, he makes Diablo Immortal videos. He makes Marvel Future Revolution videos. His name's Dark Microtransaction. He shows you a build for Barbarian. Check this shit out.
You guys, one of the funniest builds ever. This is a Barbarian build and it's extremely strong right now. Check this out. This build effectively kills everything without me actually having to do anything. This is, of course, the Thorns Barbarian. You just stack your thorns, use a few of the items I'm going to show you, and that is going to cause massive damage. Walk up to anything in a dungeon, walk up on the overworld, walk around, and they're basically just going to one-shot themselves. So this build does...
He's not even playing the game. Now, I understand these are just ads, right? But I want you to listen to the brain. Like, this is way more than I would think about stuff like this, right? He tells you the build and tells you what it's proccing, like what it's doing, right? And just listen to this.
Is really good AoE damage. Watch this. When somebody hits me, it's going to pop everybody around me as well, because I pair this with this. Thorns damage dealt has an 80% chance to deal damage to all enemies around you. So I took the aspect that makes it where it has a 40% chance, but then put it on a two-handed weapon.
Real quick, Travis, that is a dumb question. That is a dumb question, because we literally just watched Exoprimal, and now we're watching this video. Just saying.
Which doubles that to an 80% chance that anytime my thorn damage is happening, it goes in AoE. It's also good against range because of this. Distant enemies have a 15% chance to be stunned for 2 seconds when they hit you, and I deal increased damage to people that are stunned. Now, this is on the gloves. You could put it on the weapon as well to even increase this further if you would wish. But what I have on the weapon is increased damage while we have barrier. Now, you might be wondering, why would I have that while I have barrier? And I also look at this, why don't I have a barrier?
Yeah, but
23% chance.
But Water, what did I just say? Content that this is what happens, right? It's a natural progression of what happens. See, when I find something in the game, I don't say shit, right? I'm also a nobody on YouTube, okay? If I make something on something, no one's going to watch it anyway, so very few people watch it. When people have these things and they make it, this is why they put out beta tests, so people can see and they're like, oh, this is broke. I can make content off this, and I can watch this, right? Again, he's got 10,000 views on this video in 17 hours. He's monetizing it, baby.
To ignore incoming direct damage. Well, there's multiple reasons. I create a barrier whenever I'm damaging an elite enemy, okay? So I create a barrier from damaging an elite enemy, but I also have Iron Skin, which creates a barrier as well. This is constantly giving me 66% increased damage. So that way, somebody hits me from a distance, they have a chance to be stunned and have even more damage happen to them. But also, I can either use the Challenging Taunt, which this is really where it gets exciting. So let me show you this. Okay, so Challenging Shout here, right? If you look at this, the Challenging Shout increases my thorns by 50% of my maximum life. The barrier, I've always showed you how the barrier works. So I have the Iron Skin with the barrier that will increase. We have thorns gained from the Outburst passive, which means we get more thorns from having maximum life. Our thorns also are increased by 60% and do more bleed damage. Now look at this. We're also taking the passive that gains us more additional maximum life. That way we're getting more thorns from the Outburst.
I'm doing this to get this, and if I do this, it gets me more of this, and if this happens, it's getting more of this.
Passive. Now, if you look at what I have here, I just have some basic skills just to get me down. It just took Whirlwind. You can go whatever you want up here just to get down so you can actually take the ones I mentioned. And as you get down here, I took the Booming Voice to increase the duration of the shout. That way I have thorns higher for even longer at that point. So when I go to fight something, I taunt, I use the barrier, I have all this increased damage. And look at that, 2,100 damage in AoE. Because once again,
he didn't even do anything. 80%. Did you guys see that? He didn't even do anything.
I go to fight something, I taunt, I use the barrier, I have all this increased damage, and look at that, 2,100 damage in AoE, because once again, we have an 80% chance to deal damage to all of the enemies around me from the thorns again. So we're just stacking this. And the other amazing part about this is gems. In your gem slot, you can use the emeralds to gain bonus thorns. You can actually row thorn damage itself on gear. So look at this. The gear itself plus 39 thorns and 39 thorns more from the gem socket, but it also is extremely efficient if you're playing something like hardcore or you just really want to be tanky, because what we're
No one will play this. Of course they will. If you do a hardcore build and you're a barbarian, nothing can kill you. And the higher you go up, right, the more the more invulnerable you get. You'll do massive damage, and it'll even work against bosses, because the bosses that do AoE damage are going to proc your thing, and then you're going to do damage to them.
We're actually doing is everything is scaling upon our max life. You can do more and more max life if you want, which is again going to increase your overall damage because it's going to increase your thorns. Because of this, you gain more thorns from having more bonus maximum life, which works amazing with Iron Skin because it absorbs more based upon your maximum life and also gives you Fortify as well. So bosses that hit multiple times will basically just continually one-shot themselves, or anytime people...
Right. So the bosses that hit multiple times are basically killing themselves.
Are grouping up, they're going to be one-shotting themselves as well. And then if you look at this, the barrier I get another barrier from when an elite enemy hits me. I'm going to be giving myself another barrier, which once again is going to give me that bonus barrier damage, and then also ignore damage.
I might have this on 1.2. No, it's on normal speed.
I have a barrier up. Everything doubles down together. It's amazing. It makes gearing really easy because all you have to do is look at the yellow gear, be like, does this have thorns? Does this have strength? Does this have maximum HP? Okay, this one has strength, etc. And then that's all you got to determine. The other thing is you don't really have to min-max your abilities. Like if you look at the way the abilities actually work here, the challenging shout just gives me more damage reduction. So I'll be tankier if I level this up. All I really need is the 50% here. This one right here gives me a larger barrier, which is nice. It will keep the barrier.
Yeah, but how is this a cheap build? Right? How is this a cheap build? It's a build. It's in the game. It's not like he's like trying to... He saw this and said, oh, if I take this and put this and do this and put this, that's what it is. Right? Not a cheap build. It's a build. That's what it is. Take the cheap part out. It's a build. There's no like hardcore mode of going, well, I earned my build. He got the level. He chose the correct things in order and to make, right? You'll get bored? Sure. It's just like putting a cheat code in, Water. But people like playing this. I'll run this let's say I'm farming gear. Okay? I'll put that on, run around. Remember, people shot into a cave in Destiny. Okay? How boring does that get? People for Outriders sat there in the demo and just killed the same thing over and over. Believe me, this'll run if they keep it in the game.
Longer, but that's it. I don't need a ton of points in this. It becomes good quite quickly because all I really need is the points in Thorn. And then after that, it just scales linearly with me getting stronger and stronger and stronger on my maximum HP. And it's really easy to gear because, gem sockets, like I'm saying,
Winslow's choking. Don't choke.
HP, that's all you have to focus on, and you know what to do. So when you're having gear, you can make decisions quickly. And when you're leveling in the beginning, making the decisions quickly on when the game comes to actually launch, just knowing, okay, I'm just going to focus on this build real quick, go, will save you some time. It doesn't have to be the in-game build that you're going to use for the rest of the time, but it will work for a while. And a lot of these legendaries... Yeah,
we already showed it, Sarge. We showed the teleport one.
This build, and a lot of these legendaries that you get are super early game ones. Like for...
Smart dude, annoying voice? I mean, you can't choose your voice, Travis. You know what I mean?
Instance, this one right here, the damage done for Elite Bear. This is a Codex one that you get. He
totally looks like a guy that would make a Thorn build.
Look, you get a.
If you don't know his content, boss, he makes a lot of different builds and a lot of different things. He's actually really smart when it comes to this stuff. He's a person that thinks on a different level when it comes to any kind of looters and RPGs like this.
From the Lost Archives and the Fractured Plains, that's an Act 1 Codex. So the Barbarian feels like pretty rough right when you're starting with him, like right in the start of the game. But once you get a couple legendaries, and you need a couple legendaries.
That's
the
weird,
one that
Reese.
you're really going to need for this
They're
to
trying
really
to keep
start
me
feeling
down.
good is this one right here. Thorns damage deals an 80% chance to deal damage to all enemies around you, because basically this is going to start constantly making AoEs happen to all of the baddies around you. So when you have the archers and stuff shooting you, it's killing all the melee guys, which is great. Okay, that's really the big one. Once you've got that, you're pretty much activated, and then you don't even need that many points, because look, okay, you don't need any points here. You need nothing special there. All you've got to do is get to your defensive skills, which you get super early game. And to get points into this, get the challenging shout with this. You can get the iron scan.
He killed 3 guys in a bar with the pencil.
Really, this section is with the bonus life. And at that point, you're pretty much done. Now go try to get as high of stats as you can. You basically just want to upgrade your gems, use your emeralds, because these are normally critical strike to vulnerable enemies, or you can use them like I'm using them here as bonus thorns. It makes yellows really easy too, because if you find a yellow, you're like, well, this one is good. Let's just say you find something okay, and you're like, okay, well, let's just say this one, just for the sake of argument. Let's say this has, instead of rank 1 double swing or something, this has strength.
So you get the build, right? You get the build. It's insane, right? So there's going to be builds like this, right? Someone's like, well, barbarians are really weak. And all of a sudden, then you see a build like this, and you're like, okay, so now he can basically just sit there and tank for everybody, right? He tanks for everybody because of this build, and then it means the sorcerer and the rogue. Everything's easy mode now. You have a barbarian with a thorn build in your squad. You're on easy mode. Hey, let's go farm stuff. Okay, cool. You got the thorn build? Sure do. Because it looks like how your expressions look of what the hell is going on here. I can barely process this. Are you high? Are you high, Winzo? I only caught half of it because he talks too damn fast. So basically what he said was he built a proc or a build of thorns. So as the thorns are being hit, it's proccing his health, and his health procs more thorns, more damage. So the more life he gets, the more power it emits, basically. So as he's doing AoE, he's doing 2,000 damage, and every time someone hits him, it just keeps proccing the thorn build, right? He figured out a way with the passive abilities to do all this damage without touching anything. He just walks, and if they touch him, it procs it. With that build, you can slay most of the game just sitting there. Yeah, that's just it. So what's the difference, right? So last night, Okuda Papa was bringing me through Diablo 3. He's like, I'm gonna level you up real fast, okay? I run around behind him. He's killing everything. Okay, now I'm just leveling up because he's showing me the routes to get me up a level so I can start building my gear. That's what this is, basically. This guy's gonna run around and kill everything without even doing anything. And he's going to drag his friends through. If you're like, hey, you want to play Diablo 4? Yeah, I can get you up real fast in levels. Yeah, I'll just bring in my barbarians with a thorn build, and boom, we'll get you up to level 50 in no time. Everyone's like, all right, cool. Let's do it. Yeah, that's just it, though. There's people out there that are on another level, man. They're just on another level. I don't understand the conversation. That's a great build. Good on him for finding it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Sarge. I don't understand why it's a boring build. It's a build. It's in the skill tree. He figured it out, and that's what it is. You don't have to use it, but I'll tell you what. I bet you will. You'd be like, oh, man, I have to farm this boss over and over and over to get this piece of gear. You know what? I'm going to build a thorn build. I'm going to stand there. I'm going to have a cup of coffee, okay? I'm going to go do some workouts and push-ups, leave my controller on, and it's just going to keep killing things. And then you come back and collect all the loot, right? Remember, people shot into a cave, okay? We all did it. We just shot into a cave and then collected the orbs, okay? Or the engrams, whatever the hell they're called. A build, actually, Vampire Slayer game, you do nothing. Exactly, Jesse. That's the build you're trying to build in Vampire Slayer. It's exactly right. You would love this build in a Vampire Slayer game. 5-minute warning. I don't know if we'll watch the trailer right away. There's another where's the other? Is there another video I got here? No, that's good for that. We don't need to watch that one. Okay. This came out a couple of weeks ago. We didn't really talk about it. This was the actual trailer for RoboCop. Okay. For RoboCop. Again, if you guys like this, please make sure you hit that like button down below. We're trying something new, trying something different. Watch videos with you guys in the live chat. If you like this type of content, hit that like button. If it does get taken down because of audio or someone does a copyright claim, I'm going to have to pull it off or down, or I'll just make it a members only stream after the fact. So if you're here watching live, you're a part of the conversation. If you watch this after the fact, sorry, you don't get to see some of the stuff. Okay. Thirty. We're over 30 now, and that makes us old, which makes us by law have to like golf. Let's get real here. I do like some golf. You know what makes me even older, Tony? I love me some miniature golf. I love miniature golf. So much so that I would love to open up a miniature golf course. Okay? It's a dream of mine. Owning my own miniature golf course. I'm not lying. I love miniature golf. All right, RoboCop. I'm 44, Tony. I'm over 40.
You came to clean up this city, didn't you? It'd be easier to burn it up.
Just think of 30 and still gaming as an adult and still gaming. That's what 30 stands for.
All to the ground. Believe me, just burn it all.
Come back with a warrant, cop.
All right.
Reese, now I feel misled.
We'll sell to you.
Drugs in the basement? I will take care of that. Open the door. I have the warrant.
Oopsie, I think I dropped my key somewhere.
That dude's dead. That dude's dead.
Surrender your weapons.
Isn't RoboCop just Cyberpunk now? Right? I mean, you're in first person mode. You don't know you're RoboCop or not. Just a cyborg. Don't disrespect Cyberpunk, but that's what it is. What I'm saying is you can play Cyberpunk and pretend you're playing RoboCop. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a first-person game. You don't see yourself. That's what it is. You're a cyborg. Man. Okay, so for PlayStation 5, Series XS, so they're not for the old system. I see this coming to Game Pass sooner rather than later. Right? I see this coming to Game Pass really, really soon. It comes out September. I'm gonna say by Christmas time, this thing is on Game Pass. Show of hands, who's buying this? Who's buying this? Look at the majestic blood splatter. Looks like an old shoot house game. Yeah. It doesn't look very good. I'll be honest with you. Be interesting. Actually, I think the game would have been better if it was a third-person game to see RoboCop. I'm not sure if he is doing the voice. In RoboCop, you don't have to aim. This is a joke. That is true, Sarge. Auto lock-on should be a thing. He's RoboCop. Definitely a drop, not a cop. I guess I ought I ought to show you my my Cyberpunk build guy. I think you're misconstruing what I'm saying though, Daniel. What I'm saying is the feel of this RoboCop game. Basically, you're going around killing a bunch of cyberpunk type of people, like in that futuristic world. Cyberpunk feels like a better game than RoboCop would feel, as what I'm saying. Like, you don't see yourself. You're a cyborg. You're taking guns. You're just shooting people. You could pretend you're RoboCop. So, let me see what you guys are over here. AEW Fight Forever. Let me see. We'll take that one. Then we'll watch the Master Class one. Fight Forever official clip. IGN minute 40.
This bout is set for one fall.
All right.
Man, this should be one hell of a singles match.
This is AEW Wrestling.
Champion, Hangman Adam Page. Introducing the challenger, the American Dragon.
Don't be my producer, Travis. Let me do my thing.
Well, I didn't watch it with a stopwatch, Tony, but what happened at the end is that Hangman Adam Page landed that buckshot lariat.
Man, the graphics look fantastic.
5 extra seconds, right? We wouldn't be
Looks so
having this
real.
rematch here tonight.
Oh, okay, there it is. Oh, this definitely looks like WWF and or NWO versus WCW.
Danielson. Oh, wait a second. Here it comes. Hangman Adam Page. Buckshot once again avoided. Psycho knee.
Fighting their asses up.
Oh, backdrop driver.
These graphics are amazing. I know, Sarge.
It's avoided two previous times.
Inside out. Guts and cradle, guts and all.
Yes. And the champion.
I mean, it's THQ Nordic. They're the ones that made the original ones, aren't they? I am so far from wrestling. I used to watch and love wrestling. I haven't watched it in a decade. So this looks entertaining, and I would love to pick this up, but not for me anymore. If it's if it comes to Game Pass or it's on like Super Sale or something like that, we might pick it up. The hell is this? All right, this one. This is a weird one. It's called Pacific Drive. Pacific Drive.
Locations impacted include sectors Delta.
Well, I didn't say Game Pass day one, Travis. I just said I won't pick it up unless it's on Game Pass.
Field Research Training Module 1. While conducting your field research out in the Olympic Exclusion Zone, you may find conditions unkind to your personal transport unit. Steel and rubber in particular are extremely susceptible to zone conditions. In your toolkit, you have access to the basic equipment you need to maintain your transport.
Okay, getting the Griswold station wagon.
When out on the field, make sure to utilize all appropriate safety gear and equipment. ARDA does not condone petty theft. However, should you find yourself in a life-threatening situation,
Okay,
you may
gravity's a
have
little
time
off.
to borrow from your surroundings.
Okay, you're scrapping cars.
Should Should you encounter unusual phenomena out in the wilderness, remember the 3 safety steps. Number 1, observe only at a careful
It's like
distance.
car mechanic on steroids over here.
Approach only at your own risk. Number 2, do not attempt to contain or interact with the phenomena.
We're definitely going to get hit for the fucking music here.
Immediately report your findings and follow appropriate decontamination procedures upon your return from the field. And number 3, leave them where you found them. Above all, do not forget the most important critical rule. Do not get caught out in the instability. We remind you that Arda is not liable for any entropic reconstitution that occurs to you or your loved ones should you interact with the instability. All Arda personnel are expected to follow strict protocol. Remember, personal methods of creative expression are highly encouraged so long as it does not interfere with official equipment.
This is National Lampoon's Vacation on steroids.
Suffered as a result. That's it for today's training. Happy trails and good luck.
Now, okay, I'm gonna say that kudos to them for taking a chance on just a random type of thing. They're like, yeah, you know what? We're gonna make a game where you collect car parts and put them on, and we'll have an alien invasion happening during the same thing. Right? Like, seems interesting. I'm definitely not going to pick it up or anything, but interesting and nonetheless. Right? Nonetheless, interesting. That might be fun. Yeah, could be fun. Very interesting. It feels like a game that you would play for like 5 hours, right? Is it aliens? I thought it was a drug trip. Let's see what else we got on the docket here. All right, this is a rumor. Okay. The footage that you're seeing is not the game. We're watching this for the guy talking about the game. He's showing another game, okay? But this is called Project Medieval by Rockstar, okay? Supposedly, they're making an open world medieval game, okay? Which is coming out after Grand Theft Auto 6.
Project is an upcoming open world game that is being created by Rockstar Games, the developers and publishers of the Grand Theft Auto series. Now, it's said that Rockstar Games will be releasing this upcoming medieval open world project after the release of Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, recently, just a couple of days ago, someone from Rockstar's Insider confirmed that the Grand Theft Auto 6 is almost complete. The entire game's
No, Star doesn't have his PC yet. He's on the mobile phone right now.
It's currently in its final polishing state, and anytime soon, Rockstar Games is going to be giving us an official announcement for GTA 6. And so far, we actually got a bunch of official information and also some leaked source codes that Rockstar Games is also working on a massive medieval project that is going to be a game set in medieval times. It is going
a medieval times open world game. So we're talking like Red Dead Redemption, but with medieval times.
Going to be open world game. It is going to be single player. I don't know if they're going to take this game in a multiplayer route similar to what Red Dead Online and Grand Theft Auto Online is. Maybe if they decide to do that, I think Rockstar Games could be the only developers who could pull off a perfect online multiplayer open world medieval game. And this game could turn out to be one of the best role-playing games out there that has ever been made. And I just can't wait to see what Rockstar Games is working on. And as of now, all the information that we have got so far from Games Radar is that the new rumors suggest that Rockstar Games could be working on a brand new IP for the next generation of consoles that is set in European medieval time period.
New rumors suggest that Rockstar could be working on a brand new IP for the next generation of consoles that is set in the European medieval time period. Well, most presumably claim the developer is working on GTA 6 and PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X after the best-selling Western sequel released last year. Now they edit LinkedIn post from Rockstar character artist Padwas Saxtina pointed to Project Medieval, a title that is rumored to be shelved some years ago, but now the company is back on active development. And the reason they're back on active development is because basically Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto 6 is in completion.
But most presume the acclaimed developer is working on GTA 6 for PS5 and Xbox Series X after its best-selling Western sequel released last year. Now, edited LinkedIn post from Rockstar's character and artist Pawasa Saxena have pointed out that Medieval Project, a little title that was rumored to be shelved some years ago by the company, is now back and is actively in development. Now, it seems like since GTA 6's final development stages are done and now the game is only getting polished, this also means that Rockstar Games have started.
If that's true, that means Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out next spring or fall.
Working on the upcoming Medieval game. I'm super excited to see what that is going to be. And every time a Rockstar makes a game, it is always genre defining. So I'm just super excited to see what they're working on. Let me know down below in the comments, what do you guys think? Would you guys like to have a full-on open world multiplayer game like GTA Online and Red Dead Online for the Medieval game? Or would you like the game to be completely single player only? Me personally, when it comes to Rockstar games, since Rockstar is the one that's making this game, I absolutely want to see a multiplayer version of this game because there is going to be endless opportunities.
I've liked everything.
Really
I've liked everything that Rockstar's
and
made.
If you guys are looking for a YouTube channel that basically covers all the latest informations, updates, leaks, gameplays, trailers, and basically all that you need about all the upcoming open world games.
Well, it's rumored, Sarge. They don't know. Like, they can't officially say that they're working on it. They said there's a source that says they're working on a Medieval game. You can't say that they are working on a game. He's saying that there's a rumor that they are working on a game. It's not like he's the guy making the game. Right? I've liked everything that Rockstar's done. Even when they did the top-down Grand Theft Auto games, I loved every single one of them. L.A. Noire, Bully, was that Midnight? No, Max Payne, right? Did they make Max Payne? Yeah, they made Max Payne. They also did, what was the other one? Right? There's also that game that everybody wants them to make, which is The Agent, which they had an early development of it, not access, early development of The Agent, and then it kind of like backed off and they went back in and they got rid of it again. So I wonder if they're still working on that. So Rockstar is a medieval time period, almost like Blight Survival. I don't know. Obviously, this is not the footage that you're watching is not their game. Be a reporter, Diggs, somebody knows. Well, he showed the article of one of the artists that worked for it and said that they're working on it. So he's taking information from an artist that worked on for Rockstar, but you don't know if the game's coming out. And if it's the next game after Grand Theft Auto 6, if Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out next year, you're not going to hear about Project Medieval or whatever the game's going to be called, and probably till like 2027 the earliest to actually officially go, hey, yeah, we're working on something. Remedy is Max Payne, Control, and Alan Wake, dude. What was the game I'm thinking of? They had a car game. Was that Midnight? I know Max Payne's not a car game, but there was a car game they worked on too. I didn't play it. I never played their game for that. Oh, Max Payne is the Rockstar developer. Yeah. Max Payne is Rockstar. That's correct. Midnight Club. Thank you. They need a GTA to fund these passion projects. They have enough money. Like, do we understand, Salty, that the money that they've made with Grand Theft Auto 5 and still are making with Grand Theft Auto 5, that they could fund any project they want. Basically, Grand Theft Auto was the Fortnite for Rocksteady. Or, I'm sorry, Rockstar, not Rocksteady, right? Epic Games wanted to make a bunch of stuff and they couldn't do it until they made Fortnite. Now they're trillionaires. Rockstar couldn't make what they wanted until Grand Theft Auto exploded. And now they can make all the games they want. They have enough money to do whatever. Right? GTA 6 comes out, they don't need another game, right? Remedy made Max Payne, Rockstar's the publisher. Published by Max Payne is a 2001 third-person shooter video game developed by Remedy Entertainment and published by Gathering of Developers. So Rocksteady, I keep saying Rockstar is not even the publisher. Max Payne was originally released on Microsoft Windows and was later ported by Rockstar Games to the PlayStation 2 and Xbox in December 2001, and by Maxsoft and Feral Interactive on Mac OS. There you go. Rockstar didn't publish it, but they ported it out to the PlayStation 2. Max Payne was also available on the 360, Xbox Original, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2 Classic. All right, so there you go. I think it'll be interesting. A medieval game. A medieval open world, if it's an open world game. I mean, if it's a single-player game like a Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption, and then online after the fact, that might be interesting. Even if you don't want to play the online aspect of it, just a single-player game would be good. Again, whatever Rockstar makes, I'm a fan of. I've never been disappointed with any of their games. I bet you GTA 6, they may be making 3-part maps of... We've talked about that, Jesse. We've talked about that. We've talked about Grand Theft Auto 6 being like called Grand Theft Auto like World or Universe type of stuff. I also think that they'll come out with, let's say they come out with the next GTA 6 and it takes place in Miami. Well, they can have expansions and then have like Liberty City and San Andreas, or once you're done with Vice City, you then go into the online version of the game, and then that's the game. And then you can go to all the places they've created. Oh, let's see here. Life by You announcement trailer. This is a weird game. This reminds me of The Sims and like Second Life. All footage captured in-game build, open world life simulator. This is The Sims. This is made by Paradox. So basically, this is the meta. Explore freely. Real conversations. Go shopping. I wonder if that means you have to buy, even though they have their own in-game money up in the corner, I bet you you would pay microtransactions and convert your money into it. Advance through jobs and careers. We'll talk about this in just a second. Control anyone at any time. Interesting. Take direct control. Customize your world. Customize. Tell your stories. So it's an open world, but is it online or is it a single player game? So this is like the next evolution of The Sims. All right, hold on a second. There's a lot of stuff that it's saying. Object creator, mod creator, career creator, quest creator, script, gameplay, recipe, skill, traits, crafting, collectible, outfit, household, story, life. Interesting. I wonder if this is a single player game. If it's a single player game, this is definitely going for The Sims. It's trying to compete with The Sims. Right, this is Sims Advanced version. I thought it was a online game, and if it's an online game, then basically it's the meta. So you're basically making a world and controlling all the people in the world, and you can take direct control of the players in the world and then build that world. So it's taken like The Sims and City Skylines. Like you're building the city, you're decorating the city, you're making the city, and then you're also living in the city. Interesting. Interesting. I don't think The Sims will ever have a competitor. Well, this might be... Paradox is very good. Paradox is the same people. If I'm not mistaken, they've made a lot of Sim-type games, right? Paradox Interactive. Yeah, they made City Skylines. They made City Skylines and a bunch of other games. Let's see. Our games... Stellaris, City Skylines, Prison Architect. So they're good. They're good at making these type of games. So maybe that's what EA needs, right? Maybe The Sims is getting boring and they won't have a competitor, and that's why The Sims is just what it is. Now this company comes along and they create, the next game that could be a competitor for them. I mean, City Skylines is their bread and butter for this company. Surviving Mars, Europa. Look how many City Skyline, and now there's City Skylines 2 is coming out on top of that. Empire of Sin, Crusader Kings 3. They've made some really good games. There's so many City Skyline expansions that they have. My God. Like a fortune over here. Even at $5 a pop. My God. Oh, they made Pillars of Eternity? I didn't know that. Oh, they made Cities in Motions too. Wasn't as good as City Skylines. Lots of games from this company, man. Unreal Editor for Fortnite is coming. Is there a trailer for that, Stealth, or is this just an article? me see what this one is. Gray Hill incident release date. That's from 3 weeks ago.
Aliens everywhere, Ryan. They're trying to get inside my house.
Several animals have already disappeared.
Don't ever tell anything to the police.
Is someone in your room?
Ryan, are you there?
Oh, what does she have on her head?
You don't think that they,
What?
probe us when we become abducted?
I don't know, man. Trying not to think about that right now.
Shit. Listen, Ryan, you have to get as much tinfoil as you can.
The government knows it.
In addition, you can sleep better at night if you remember that a neighbor is patrolling outside.
Good luck, Ryan. I'm waiting for you.
That looks terrible. That looks terrible. I wouldn't pay more than $20 for that game. That's too much. $20 is too much. Put it in game trailers? All right. Really? I can't. There we go. Let's see what this is. Unreal, it's happening.
We are finally getting you EFN, also known as Creative 2.0 this month. And here is an early teaser of it, posted by the official Fortnite Creative page. It will release in beta on March 22nd.
Okay, what can you do? Create custom content with modeling and material tools, important mesh textures, animations, and audio. Use the creative visual effects, animate with controller rig and sequencer, design gameplay with verses, build landscapes and create the fleshed out environment, create larger experiences, world partition, use Fab to discover important assets, use Live Edit to collaborate with real time and others, integrate revision controls to. So basically, Epic is. Basically, Epic is releasing this and letting people build games for them, right? They're like, hey, let's put all our stuff to make it even more appealing for people to make games and do stuff, and then they can make money off of each person that does it. Mafia 3 left a bad taste in my mouth. Brutal, but lack of story aspects. Looks unsettling for the Alien game. At least it's only on PlayStation. Well, I don't know. Was that last game only on PlayStation? I wouldn't pay $20 for GTA, so okay. I don't care if it's an indie studio. It doesn't appeal to me. I don't care if it's a major blockbuster. There's major AAA studios making games. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. They'll take ideas that seem to stick and use them in their own future updates. They could. There's probably some contractual stuff inside there.
For PC users, UEFN is a no PC application for designing, developing, and publishing games and experiences directly into Fortnite. This is going to completely change creativity in Fortnite. This has been worked on for years.
So basically, that's the.
Can I win a giveaway?
That is the shift, right? From what Epic was doing with Fortnite in the very beginning, what they wanted is a tower defense game. They made a pivot to the Battle Royale, and then they saw the opportunity to take the Battle Royale and convert it into what Roblox is doing. Or what Minecraft is doing. Minecraft is much more than just what Minecraft people think. There's a whole world of mods and people that build stuff for Minecraft, and it's a whole other separate like ecosystem inside Minecraft. Same with Roblox. Roblox is the same thing. there's a story about Roblox that people basically made a Call of Duty competitor with graphics and stuff done with inside Roblox itself. And now you have Fortnite doing the exact same thing. That this is the shift, right? This is the pivot that they're going away with. I mean, Fortnite itself is getting away from the building aspect, getting away from the more marketed towards the kids, even though it's still marketed with the graphic wise, but the building and stuff like that was a push away. Lots of people were getting away from it because it wasn't competitive enough. It was too niche of a market that people were doing the building. So they got rid of the building, and now they're starting to make it more MMO-ish type of stuff, changing the way that they do things. So much so that the Epic Games Unreal Engine 5, this is a game that basically it's called Atlas Fallen. This is Unreal Engine, and the reason I'm bringing this up is Forspoken also used the Unreal Engine 5 mixed with a thing called Lance. What the hell was it called? Lance. I forget what the engine. It was mixed, but it used the Unreal Engine 5, and then they adapted it to their own type of engine. So let's look at this. This is checking out Atlas.
Just enough time to know
Fallen.
exactly what kind of game it's going to be. Open world action RPG with sand. The developer Deck 13 previously made both of the Surge games, which were fairly linear.
They already had
straight-up
Hazard Zone, though,
Souls-likes.
Jesse.
Atlas Fallen, however, is vastly more open and very much not a Souls-like. Combat is fast and responsive, with no stamina system slowing you down. The main hook to this battle system and what sets
This
it
looks
apart
very.
from other
Here's my problem. A lot of this games look similar. If I didn't tell you this was Atlas Fallen, I could tell you this is an expansion of Forspoken type of thing.
other open world action RPGs is the reliance on gaining momentum. This momentum gauge down in the bottom left builds up from attacking, and the higher it climbs, the more passive buffs will activate and the more of your active abilities will become available. You'll be finding all kinds of these essence stones as you explore and kill stuff, which are what you slap onto this momentum bar to then be activated. These could range from a passive defense boost, a sand tornado,
Yeah, but
AoE
Hazard Zone was already in the
modification
game.
to your dodge, or many other RPG type of upgrades and abilities. If you want more lesser buffs that activate earlier on in a fight, unlock more spots on the left of the gauge. If you want more powerful but harder to obtain buffs, unlock more spots to the right. The risk of the system is
No, 30. At first, they scrapped it. Now they're going to do it now. No, it was in the game. It was in the game when it came out. Then they removed it, and now you're telling me they're bringing it back?
the higher your momentum gauge, the more damage you'll take. But along with those extra buffs and abilities, your attacks will become more powerful as well. At different sections of the momentum gauge, your weapons will physically change in form, affecting your entire moveset. Now, I wasn't able to capture my own footage during this preview. This is all provided B-roll, so let me crank up the budget for a second and show you what I mean. When you're
So let me get this straight. I know we're watching this video. So let me get this straight. They had Hazard Zone in the game. Everyone bought the $120 version of Battlefront. It was broke, buggy, unfinished. The game was shit. Let's just admit what it was, right? It was shit. Then, let me take it off this because we're not talking about this for a second, right? So then they bought the $120 version of the game, and it was an absolute crap fest. The shit fest, okay? Nobody was playing the game. They all mass exited Battlefront 2042. Then they got rid of Hazard Zone. And now because people are coming back in droves because it's actually fun and they're giving away the game for free. It's on PlayStation Plus. It's on Game Pass. It's massive discounts. They're doing all this stuff. They got this influx of people. They're like, hey, you know what we should do? We should throw in Hazard Zone again.
Your momentum is low over on the left of the gauge, your Sand Whip, for example, is going to be swinging around at its normal length and power. When momentum reaches this next section of the gauge, the Sand Sword will physically alter to be a larger version of itself, with more power and longer reach than it had before. In the
I love
third
these
section
drawings
on the
he's
far
doing.
right side of the gauge, this changes the weapon to look more like a big old great sword, with even more reach and even small shards that will be flying off it in an area of effect. I'm not a graphic designer, don't hire me. This weapon ascension mechanic applies to all the weapon types, not just the Sand Whip. So the single momentum gauge modifies your weapon's attacks and combos, affects when your passive buffs will trigger, and enables more active abilities at higher tiers, but the risk, you take increased damage the higher it climbs. However, don't worry about being forced into taking extra damage, because you can always just activate your Shatter ability to instantly set your momentum back to 0. A Shatter is like a big ultimate attack, which allows you to manually drain your own momentum. That's pretty much the main aspects of the momentum system, but as for the combat basics, attacking
The
comes
game
out of
looks-
2 primary face buttons.
Okay, here's the way my thought process works. Okay, the game looks visually pleasing, right? Because it's the Unreal Engine 5. But doesn't it feel like the Unreal Engine 5 uses the same goddamn assets across the board? And here's my issue, and I've talked about this in the past. If everyone's using the Unreal Engine 5, and I've had this conversation about, I don't want everyone using the same engine, because that doesn't drive creativity. That just means everyone's using the same assets, right? Because someone made this desert board, right? Someone made this desert board so much so that I can show you that, right? Here. Right, Forspoken. Okay. Well, let's look at this gameplay for a bit. Right. It almost feels the same, but they're using the same engine. I've also seen the same background watching Mandalorian with the Unreal Engine using the background in the room. Okay, it just feels really strange to me. Like, everyone's using the same assets. And I feel like that stagnates creativity of stuff.
Either on square and triangle on PlayStation or X and Y on Xbox. Each are tied to a specific weapon type you've assigned to them.
Like, we were just talking about this yesterday, right? Travis brought up yesterday, why do people compare things to other games, right? Why is this compare? You look at this, and I'm like, oh, this looks like Forspoken. Do you know what I mean? Forspoken didn't really have a desert. It looked like Utah, whatever you want to call it, right? With the mountain ranges and the deserts and I mean, that's what it was when they first showed it off.
One button and a big axe on the other, but there seems to be more weapon types you get later on. Tapping or holding either attack button will modify the sequence of attacks that comes out, and there's also a third attack button on right trigger, which is more focused on aerial combat. On the ground, that third button will become a launcher to jump attack up into the air, or if you're already airborne, that attack will send you slamming back down into the ground. Some enemies can bury themselves down under the sand. And
I'm not talking about
ground
gameplay,
slam
Travis.
will pop them right
I'm talking about
behind you.
looks.
Now let's talk about Sand Skin. It's coarse, rough, and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Sand Skin is your block button on left bumper, which will briefly freeze you in place and can neutralize an incoming attack. If you time this right, it'll instantly refresh the cooldown and can even freeze enemies for a few seconds as well. Instead of using this defensively, you can also use Sand Skin to lengthen or stall your own outgoing attack animations, which can be useful when you're trying to wait for an enemy to move into range. Back into the Surge real quick, toggling to different body parts and tactically chopping them off was a key aspect of those games. That idea is somewhat brought over here, but is primarily tied to just the larger enemies. Over in the top left,
This is an open
you'll
world
see
game,
where
right?
Different sections of their bodies can be destroyed. Some sections will be squishier than others, and you can get some extra drops if you break them. As for the open world exploration part of Atlas Fallen, there are a few things that you can raise up out of the sand to reach different areas, and there's some platforming elements, but combat is the main thing you'll be finding yourself in. On right bumper is your normal dodge roll, but when you're airborne, this changes into an extended air.
You're telling me this doesn't look... This doesn't look like Forspoken? Hold on a second.
Air dash, which becomes
No,
one
I
of
didn't
your
want that.
most useful traversal tools. You can eventually upgrade the amount of times you can air dash, which allows you to access different areas on the map that you previously just couldn't reach. It seems like your main incentive to take the time to explore and do the side content is for upgrade materials or more.
Oh, I'll agree with that,
Essence
Akuda Papa.
Essence stones are those
I'm saying
passive buffs and
visually.
active abilities
I'm not
that
talking
will
about
trigger on
gameplay.
your momentum
I'm literally
gauge,
talking
and
about visually.
ultimately are what form the majority of your character's build. Some of these abilities also indicate that they affect nearby allies as well. Yes, an ally. This will have co-op when it comes out, but I wasn't able to try that in this preview. There's also different armor sets out there that you can find, and it has a pretty cool cosmetic system that lets you fine-tune each section of those. I only acquired one different armor set in my play session, so it's definitely not a showered and randomized loot kind of game. Overall, in my time, or more Essence Stone. That idea is somewhat brought over here, but is primarily tied to just the larger enemies. Over in the top left, you'll see where different sections of their bodies can be destroyed. Some sections
I feel like the
will be
traversal's the
squishier than
same.
others, and you can get some
And I feel like
extra
visually it
drops
looks
if you
the
break
same.
them. As for the open world exploration part of Atlas Fallen, there are loop in place, and most importantly, it's just fun to play. Skidding around through the sand, finding hidden chests, gaining upgrades, abilities, and killing stuff feels like open world RPG comfort food. With a few months left till launch though, it still needs a bit more polish and one very important addition: more enemy types. In this moderately sized chunk of the map, I fought sandpupper after sandpupper, and
I can't
more
unsee
worms
it.
than I could count.
We talked about this. We talked
If I
about this
could make
earlier
one-
in the show, right? I can't unsee it. This is no fault to the game itself of Atlas Fallen. I didn't buy Forspoken. I'm not going to buy Atlas Fallen, but this is the Wizard of Oz moment for me. Because this game looks so similar to that one, I'm out, right? And that's my honest opinion. I look at this and go, it looks samey. It looks samey as another game, and I had no interest in the other game. So just the look of that game, to me, doesn't pique my interest in any way, shape, or form. Can't be less successful than Forspoken? I beg to differ. It can't until it is. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying don't say it's impossible for something, because surely it will happen someday. A lot of the world looks strikingly similar. Not sure, but this is my point though, Okuda, that they're both using the Unreal Engine 5, right? Forspoken used Unreal Engine 5 and adapted it to make their game, but they use assets and stuff in the Unreal Engine 5. Atlas Fallen is also using Unreal Engine 5. My discussion's not about the gameplay and right. It's about the visuals of the game. If all companies start using the same Unreal Engine and they use these assets because Unreal makes it so much easier. I'm not saying it's easy, but makes it so much easier to use. Look at the examples people took from the Matrix Unreal Engine 5 demo. They took the same city and then put Superman in it. They took the same city and made the Hulk demos, right? And these are people that are in their basements, in their houses, and they're just taking the Unreal Engine assets and then making a game. Look at what I forget the name of it. The Day Before. is taking. It's taking assets because they moved over to the Unreal Engine 5, and because it's a realistic environment, they took other people's assets and then kind of redid it in their way. Some of the things they changed, some of the things they didn't. The problem, like I like other companies using different engines. I'm okay with EA using Frostbite. I'm okay with a lot of companies using Unity. I'm okay with them using the Unreal Engine, but a lot of game companies look samey because they're not changing the things enough. They're just taking the open world environment of the Unreal Engine that's already in the database and they're reusing it and then implementing pieces, but it looks the same. Exactly, that's the point of the Unreal Engine store. I understand that. But the problem with that is here's the thing. There's assets that artists use and photographers use, and you can use that same picture, or you can adjust and change the picture to make it look different, right? A lot of people are using the Unreal Engine and just taking the assets as is. They're not changing the colors. They're not changing the stuff. They're just taking what it is and putting it in the pre-existing packs that they are, okay? And that is going to, again, for the majority of the population, they're not even going to notice because they don't care. But for people like myself, I look at it and go, it's the same. No, that's a terrible example. That's a terrible example, Travis. Jedi Survivor and Dark Souls don't look anything close to the same thing. That's my point, Okuda. Like, a lot of the stuff just seems very like, I'm a gamer. I'm a developer now, right? I don't need to know anything about coding. I can literally go in. I can literally go in and grab. There's people literally that don't know anything about gaming, and they make a game in the Unreal Engine in a matter of days, right? The problem is the saturation across the gaming scene. Yes, Salty. That's a great way to put it, right? Other engines make other games unique. Like, you look at the Unity engine, and the Unity engine across the board is different for everything. They're using the Unity engine, but they also don't look the same because it doesn't operate the same as the Unreal Engine. And I understand Tim Sweeney said this in an interview that they're looking to make gaming easier for people to use assets and whatnot. But if everyone starts to use the Unreal Engine, it's going to get really mundane and boring if everyone uses the same engine. Man, that Thorn build we saw earlier scares me. Will destroy PvP. I think it'll destroy the game itself, boss, because when you have something like that, it starts to they're going to have to start nerfing stuff, right? They'll have to nerf something, and because they nerfed it because of PvP. You see what I'm saying? I always got to remember there's a lot of people in this world who are blind to most things, not smart enough to tell the difference. This is why companies do this stuff. Absolutely. And I'm aware of that. And that's why I said I see things like this and I go, oh, that's type of the same, right? If I go back to look at the old, this is why I didn't buy a lot of the games at the NES days. A side scroller is a side scroller is a side scroller, right? Mario stuck out. But if you start comparing like Goonies, Friday the 13th, there's a lot of games that look the exact same as a side scroller. Okay, they didn't distinguish themselves enough, and that's why game sales hurt, because you're just like, I kind of played that game already, right? It wasn't differentiated itself enough from the remainder of the pack. And that's my issue. There will be many, many games like Forspoken in the future. It's times we live in these days. Right, Hero. And I don't know, and again, there's a clientele for those games, right? Someone's going to go out and buy Atlas Fallen, and they're going to absolutely love it. They're going to fall in love with it. They're going to be like, oh, man, I can't remember. And I'm glad Akuda Papa brought up the Kingdom game that Kurt Schilling made, right? It's been coming up in chat quite a bit lately. It does feel like that, right? These games do feel samey. Okay? It's like the Assassin's Creed games. They're all made by the same people. They all feel samey. Well, all these games using the Unreal Engine They're all different companies, but yet they all feel the same, like it's one company working on the actual game. It's just weird. Oh, yeah, that Friday the 13th game is completely different, boss. I'm talking about like the old school NES games. They all look kind of samey. You know what I mean? And I hope you do, Travis. I hope you do. This is not me giving shit to Atlas Fallen as a game itself. I'm talking about the Unreal Engine and what people are doing with it, the Unreal Engine 5 engine, and how games all look kind of bland to me. It looks beautiful, don't get me wrong. The Unreal Engine 5 looks fantastic. But it all just kind of looks the same because it is the same because they're pulling the same assets. The thing I've noticed most in the industry, someone who has a gaming engineering design degree, is that everyone has their own game idea, and the problem is that everyone uses it and does what other devs. Here's the thing. If you notice that certain games all come out at the same time, like, so let's say they got inspired by Assassin's Creed, and it takes 3 to 5 years to make a game. They saw like Valhalla, and they're like, oh man, that's the game I want to make, and they become a game designer, and they become a game developer, and then they all come out within the same year span. There's like 4 or 5 games that all use the Unreal Engine 5, all have an open world game, all have puzzles, and the only difference is the visuals of the enemies in the world. It's kind of weird, right? Fighting him in the cabins was the the Friday the 13th game. I still have that game. If people want to play it one night and we have like a members stream or something, you guys want to play, I'll be up for that. That was a fun game. Oh no, I get it, man. I hope you enjoy Diablo 4, but it also looks bland to me. All people should buy what they want and not be rude to people who enjoy the other games. Yeah, I'm not being rude, and I know you're not saying I'm being rude. What I'm saying is I don't care if people like shitty games. I like shitty games. I played Marvel's Avengers. I played Anthem, right? Those are considered shitty games, but I enjoyed them. I played Gotham Knights. I enjoyed it. I don't care what other people think of the games that I think are good or bad, right? I honestly don't give two shits what someone thinks about a game that I want, and you should all do the same, right? Enjoy what you enjoy, play what you want to play, spend your money how you want to spend your money. But to have a conversation in my channel, I'm going to say what I think is good or what I think is bad because this is my channel and my opinion, right? Yeah, I'll play a game, and because I also enjoy a game, doesn't mean I can't shit on that game, right? I shit on Marvel's Avengers all the time while I was playing it. I shit on Destiny all the time when I was playing it. That's because I love it. And because I love something, I want it to succeed and be better than what it is. All right, let me bring up what else we got here. Yeah, I just think the Unreal Engine stuff is just... We already saw the Barbarian build. We saw the Teleportation build. What else we got? We already saw that one. Jedi Survivor, the story trailer. I haven't watched it yet. Haven't seen it yet. Same for me with Cyberpunk. Love it to death and keep playing it, but won't hesitate to call it out in the devs' approaches. The only thing here's the thing about Cyberpunk, right? I was gifted it by one of my mods, Brainchild. Okay, he gave it to me. I have yet to play it, right? And here's the reason. I'm upset with the company saying the things they did about that game and then launched it in the state that they did. Okay, and first impressions are everything to me. Right? First impressions, everything. If the game might be in fantastic form right now, okay, I don't care. Why don't I care? Because there's games that are coming out right now that when they launch are fantastic games. Case in point, Hogwarts Legacy. I didn't have to wait 6 months for that game to be finished and complete. I didn't have to wait 12 months for that game to be finished and complete. I bought the game, played the game, enjoyed the game. It's a fantastic game. That's the standard. You don't get a pat on the back for fixing your game. I don't give No Man's Sky a pat on the back for fixing their game. Okay? All these people that say, oh, it's a No Man's Sky moment. Maybe they have a No Man's Sky turnaround. That should not be a standard. The standard is make a game, sell a game, complete game. So all these games that make that No Man's Sky comeback, I don't care. You lost your time in the spotlight for me because there's other games coming out. Case in point, Jedi Survivor will probably be a fantastic game. Okay? Will be a fantastic game. So you make a game, it's broke, buggy, unfinished, and now you want me to praise it because now it's working condition. No. I'll buy it on sale. I'll wait till it comes on Game Pass. I'll never play your game. That's the scenario in after first impressions, right? Let's watch Survivor now.
It's been a long 5 years. You've tried to resist.
Hold up a second. That's Coruscant.
You've tried to resist. Fear and mistrust rule the galaxy.
Cal, look into the fire.
Here she is.
It will warm you.
She's one of the better characters in the first game.
Keep you company. But left unchecked, it will consume everything until there is only ash.
How could you let the galaxy fall to this unworthy machine of an empire?
Hope may feel beyond our grasp. I think we finally found somewhere the Empire can't reach us.
Imagine. No more looking over your shoulder.
A place that's worth fighting for, no matter the cost.
Now that looks freaking amazing. Okay? That looks good. Now, look at the difference. Okay? Here, I'll even pick a desert scene if I can find one in here. Okay? I know this is an open world game. Okay? It's hard to see because it's a lot of cinematics here. Right? It doesn't look like the background stuff doesn't look like that the same. You know what I mean? I'm very excited for this. This looks like a game. Now, if this game comes out, I'm excited for it. I'm gonna buy this game. This game is gonna be paid for. Okay, and if it comes out and it's shit, I'm gonna be pissed off. Okay, because I'm giving them my money. Because I feel like Respawn has deserved my money because they've made really good games, even across the board with Apex Legends, Titanfall in the past. Right? They made Jedi Fallen Order, fantastic game. It's one of my favorite Star Wars games. So I'm in on this, and this looks more fantastic. Okay, the story elements look great. Okay, and I play games for story. Okay, but if this comes out, it's got problems and bugs and glitches, I'll be there on the front line talking about the shit is good or shit is bad. Atlas Fallen looks closer to Star Wars and Forspoken. You're looking at it in a completely different light than I'm looking at it. I'm looking at what the game engine is. Okay? I'm looking at what the game engine is. You're looking at a completely different light here. Let's see here. They used Unreal Engine 4. They didn't use Unreal Engine 5 for this? They're still using Unreal Engine 4? So, my point is that they're using the Unreal Engine. But the Unreal Engine, okay, doesn't look like the two games we just showed with Forspoken. Okay? It doesn't. It doesn't look the same. They're using the same engine, but they're using and making it their own. It doesn't look like assets that you could just pull from the stuff. Stell says Travis is online only. What could possibly go wrong? I don't think anything, well, besides bugs and glitches, I think the only thing that can go wrong is the story. I think they could screw up the story and try to connect it to like the future Star Wars. You know what I mean? Instead of keeping it like self-contained in its own thing. God, I hope they don't connect it to like Palpatine and stuff in the other section. I hope not. That's what they could go wrong. While CD Projekt Red has been relatively silent on the Witcher multiplayer game, a recent update, they may hint at possible changes in direction for the project. Interesting. Was posted 18 hours ago? Okay. We'll probably talk about that on the next podcast, whenever that is. We're probably not going to have a GXG this weekend or this week as well, because Sarge's computer is still broke and it's still being built. So we'll resume our show. We should be good to go next week because it'll be well over the 15 business days. Let's see here. If we learned anything, everything could go wrong. Exactly. Do you hear the problems that are happening with Disney Star Wars and whatnot? They're looking at ways not selling off Star Wars, but basically licensing Star Wars off of Disney Plus so they can watch it other places, because they're burning money and they need to make money somewhere. Also, all of Marvel future slate minus Guardians of the Galaxies and the Marvels, everything is basically delayed. We know Loki's coming out this summer sometime, but everything that Marvel's has, all the future shows and future movies, have all been taken down, and all just say coming soon. They don't say like spring anymore or fall anymore. They're like putting the brakes on everything, or not even moving forward with a lot of the stuff. I don't know who's building his PC, boss. That would be a question for Sarge. Was glad to see that community manager from Bungie left. Oh, did someone leave there? I don't follow them anymore. Are you talking about what was his name? Not Deej. Deej left a few years ago. What was his name? What was the other guy's name? I forget what his name is. Oh, Cosmo. Is that who it was? So the other guy's still there. So nothing's changed. It's because they tried to push stupid stuff into the series and movies and and they've begun to fail. Well, yeah, a business is to make money, right? And it boggles my mind that the reason they made money in the past was because of the fans. And then you take that franchise and crap all over it for a new fan base instead of going for the people that made it as popular as it is. It boggles my mind. That's it. DMG. Is he still there? Billions down the hole. Disney Plus, because they're broke. Willow just failed, right? Willow just failed. I wonder why, right? All of these things. Shazam in theaters right now, right? Worst movie ever after the pandemic. A movie that came out during a pandemic when no one was going to theaters and came on streaming service and theaters at the same time made more money than Shazam did during an okay time. Okay? Oh, he left too? I thought Cosmo left. Is it Cosmo still there? I don't. You know what? I honestly don't care. It's Shazam. What did you expect? Well, I didn't expect anything. But I did expect that it was going to bomb at the box office because James Gunn came out and said that basically nothing matters, right? The only reason Flash is getting the buzz now is because, one, they're bringing Keaton back. Two, they're using Tom Cruise as a advertisement. They're like, he saw it, and Tom Cruise says it was one of the greatest movies he's ever seen, or he loved it, or whatever. It's like, bro, you're using a spectator as your right. This movie is garbage. I don't care if you like this movie or not. This is a monumental failure. Okay. This has made $64 million this weekend worldwide. This is DOA. They're not making a Shazam 3. Okay. They're not even going to make a Shazam 3 straight to home video. We don't even have home videos anymore. And they just won't make it. This is done. I don't see this being very good for Aquaman 2, which is going to be another cluster for DC. Okay. Blue Beetle might make good money because the budget was probably low enough where they could take a hit like this. If it makes like $200 million, it's probably profitable. But man, they are going to struggle. I like Zachary Levi. I love Zachary Levi in Chuck. Chuck was one of my favorite shows back in the day. I thought it was great. Great guy, really nice guy. But now he's saying stupid things after the bomb of the box office. He's blaming Snyder fans for not supporting the movie. Let me tell you something. The Snyder community is a very small niche community compared to the bigger, broader audience. And the bigger, broader audience didn't care for your movie. I'm sorry. I can't wait to see how badly D&D movie fails. The D&D movie looks like Guardians of the Galaxy in the D&D universe. Yeah, you know what, Salty? I hope that Netflix hits it out of the park, just like they did with the Marvel shows, with Daredevil, The Punisher, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, minus the Iron Fist, which is still pretty good. Okay, I hope Netflix hits it out of the park with the Snyder shows and movies, whatever they're doing. I don't think Dungeons and Dragons came out yet, Sarge. No. March 31st. It comes out next week or 2 weeks. Janet Ortega on Wednesday is now similar situation with Netflix and Henry Cavill as The Witcher. I saw that. She came out on a podcast and said how awful the writers were, how she had to fight nail and tooth to keep it to what the character is. I just heard that this morning. I wouldn't say no Shazam 3 for sure nowadays. It's just the box office numbers. I know rather than pay $20 for a movie night at home with the wife, I go to the theater for $15. They could recoup all. I don't think so, man. If this movie cost, let's say $100, well, I think the budget for Shazam was $100 million, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think it was $100 million, and then there's like another $110 million. I think there's another. Let's see, Shazam. Shazam budget. Yeah, $100 million US. Then on top of that, you have about 110, I think it came out, that says that they did the marketing for it. And then on top of that, once the studio, the movie theaters take their cuts and whatnot, basic on different regions and whatnot, this movie's got to make about $400 million to make money. This movie's not going to break $120 million. It probably won't even break $100 million, meaning they're out $300 million. Okay? They're out $300 million. Shazam is not going to get made again. Take it from someone that worked in the industry for 20 years. Shazam will not see the light of day. It's done. They can't. If this was the old days where it bombed in the theaters and it came out on home video and people were buying DVDs again, then maybe. No one buys DVDs anymore. You might rent it or you might pay for a streaming service, but you're not making the revenue anymore. A movie like this has to get picked up by like an HBO or someone. Well, HBO is owned by DC, but it's got to get picked up on a service that pays them money up front, sort of like what Xbox does, okay, with video games. That's the only way they're recouping stuff. So Netflix is no different than Amazon with ROP. Let's see, a genre reaches a saturation that people just don't give two shits anymore. That's right. Like, good luck with GOW, God of War, with the Amazon after Rings of Power. You know what? They might have a following there, but it all depends on what they do. You know, it all depends on what they do. Last of Us was very successful on HBO. Halo wasn't very successful. Did you know that Wonder Woman is in, but they superimpose Gal Gadot's face on the stunt double? Yeah, so they're in the industry. There's stand-ins, Stealth, and what they do is there's stunt doubles. There's also stand-ins, and sometimes stand-ins do the work for certain things as they do the visual effects because of time constraints or situations like that. There's nothing different. Like when that came out, and they're like, "Oh, there's a stand-in." Sometimes they don't even use it in the actual picture. The photos and videos that you see are for dailies. So on the set, they might have a stand-in to do a daily to show the producers or something what's going on, and then that stuff gets leaked or whatnot. Sometimes they also have the stunt doubles and they reimpose the faces because they don't want the actors and actresses to do their own stunts. Right? That's another thing. So there's nothing different there. That's all the same. That's how the industry's always been. Always been. I mean, I buy Blu-ray. Well, congratulations, Travis. You're one of the what's the market of Blu-ray sales now? Let's see. What are Blu-ray sales in 2022? Units sold. And mind you, Spider-Man No Way Home units sold 1.4 million units, which is nothing compared to like no one buys Blu-ray. You go to Best Buy, there's a small section of discs now, right? The physical media is completely gone. You're one of the 1% of the 20% that still buys movies. Stealth, Blu-rays still exist? I still buy games. Travis, you're and I'm not making fun of you. You are the outlier, not the majority. I'm just saying. There's still people that buy vinyls. There are. But it's not a massive market. It's a massive market for the underground market, for the homegrown, market. My dad still buys DVDs and Blu-rays. Does your dad also say the YouTube, Salty? Does he also say the YouTube? I watch the things on the YouTube. Because my dad does. My dad says the YouTube. I watched the thing on the YouTube. I was like, it's just YouTube. Just YouTube. I just put the thing on the thing. And I watched the thing. I'm like, really, Dad? That's good. Right? I was going to say nothing against Travis, but even the no online is like 0.1% of gamers now. Right. Yeah, I went to the Facebook today. The YouTube, bro. YouTube. Oh, is that what he says? The YouTube. I thought he said the YouTube. He says the YouTube. What do you think of Mando so far? I haven't seen the third episode, Stealth. I haven't seen the third episode. The first two episodes were so slow paced, man. So slow paced. I just like, this is awful. This is awful. And then the story plots and what they did in the show before doesn't need the second episode. Like, it's bad. I don't care that Jon Favreau's doing it or not. The plot points and the story are just awful. Dave Rose, I get it. People still buy stuff. I get it. When you used to go to Best Buy 10 years ago, there was 9 rows of DVDs. 9 rows of DVDs. Now you go to Best Buy or Target, and there's like one shelf with DVDs. That's it. Right? Same with CDs. And obviously you can go to a store that sells CDs. Look, and I believe in a world where I don't like big box stores. I don't. Right? I like mom and pop shops. Like, if you have a comic book store, you sell comic books. You want to sell washer and dryers, you sell a washer and dryer store. You want to sell light bulbs, you make a light bulb store. I like small towns with big things, like they do their own thing. More people have jobs, they can all stay in business, but big box stores come in and they just put everything in one spot, everything goes there, and mom and pop stores die off, right? I get it. There's still people that own a store, there's still people that sell stuff like that, but it's such a minute, small proportion of the industry itself. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Why is it so hard to write Star Wars? You have 40 years of content. It's amazing to me, Sarge. I don't get it. Yeah, right, Travis. Didn't you hear? Kathleen Kennedy said, we don't have anything to pull from. It's not like we have an assortment of things to pull from. The real jargon is, we don't pay the people that came up with the stories and give them royalties. We got to come up with new stuff. That's what it is. That's why Disney doesn't... If you're a Disney fan, I don't want to shatter you in any way, shape, or form. I live in Orlando. I know lots of people that work for Disney. I know lots of businesses that do business with Disney. Let me tell you, Disney doesn't pay their bills. Okay? They don't pay their bills. They don't pay their artists. Okay? And what I mean by that is that they don't, if you came up with something for Disney and then it's 10 years, 15 years down the road and they want to remake that, they don't want to pay you royalties. They don't want to pay you stuff. They would rather redo it and change things up so they don't have to pay you. Okay? They also don't pay their for when people give them products for like food and stuff, they don't pay their bills. They're like, oh, we're Disney. You should just give us stuff. So much so that Coca-Cola gives them their Coke products for absolutely free, for $0, because of the advertisement Coca-Cola has in the park. Because when you buy a drink, you get a Coke. Well, let me tell you, that's 100% profit. Okay? So when you buy a Coke at Disney World for $5 or $7, okay, or buy a bottle of water for $4.50, that's 100% profit. None of that goes to Coca-Cola. None of it. They give all the product to them for free. Disney doesn't pay their bills. Oh, I hear horror stories all the time, right? I hear horror stories all the time. I used to work for Disney, but not for the parks. I used to work for the film and television section. You know why they're a $1 billion company? They keep all their money in their pockets. Nickel and dime, my friends. My condolences. I made my money off them. Like I said, I'm a contract worker. I had to wait a long time to get paid. I get the money. But they have weird contract issues. Some people get paid in 30 days. Disney, for some reason, pays 90. Remember what I said to you about this yesterday night about Disney 30? I don't remember, Jesse. I'll be honest with you. I don't remember. You can refresh my memory. Oh, that's for sure, Travis. That is 100% for sure. Oh, when the parks closed, their parks make, okay. So all the people, and here's the thing, the people that, I know we're going off tangent here, and I have to end soon. Most people that say they're like boycotting Disney and they don't want to look, I'm not saying I'm boycotting Disney in any way, shape, or form. Sarge boycotts Disney. He doesn't want to go to Disney. That's fine. I own an annual pass. Okay. We go to the water parks and all the stuff. Okay. Because it's such a good price and there's stuff to do. I take my family and we go to those places. It's worth the price of admission that we pay. Okay. Because we get a lot of stuff, right? Being a local. So to go to the weekend, have dinner there, go to the park, go on a ride, go to the water park, go play miniature golf, whatever. Okay. It's for me, for a family of 5 to come to Disney World, you're spending a goddamn fortune. Okay, to wait in lines and they nickel and dime you for the fast pass and the genie pass and all these other passes. But for locals, it's worth it. Okay, but people that tell you they're boycotting them, let me tell you, when I go to the park, it's packed. It's packed. It's packed all the time. So either there's a lot of hypocrites out there that say, "Oh yeah, I don't like Disney. I'm boycotting," right? Because holy Christ, it is packed all the time. So you're an insider. Well, X. Yeah, no, I'm not an insider. You got to remember Disney. Wait, I'm seeing something here. Hold on a second. Jesse said, remember that. What's funny is how they actually were falling apart during the pandemic. Yeah. The co-writer Justin Gripson have reportedly exited the top secret. Have exited the top secret Star Wars film. Yeah, I'm telling you, they're. I did a tweet yesterday or in the Discord yesterday. Nothing to see here. You know that meme with from Naked Gun. Calm down. There's nothing to see here. Disney's in trouble in their entertainment business, and they're making changes, but might be a little too late. Look at the way that Star Wars for 10 years and what you got, 3 bad movies, a spaceship that cost $1,000 to stay at in the theme park, failed. Reva lightsaber, a few decent series, and that's it. Even the series, people liked Andor, but it's one of the lowest rated shows as far as viewership, right? Like, it was terrible as far as that. Now Mando's even lower than that, right? No one's watching these shows. No one's watching. If Disney starts paying their employees, get rid of their pedos, allow common families to afford the park, stop injecting woke into the entertainment, and remove political agenda from kids, yeah, they might change some things then. Travis, so they can revive Walt Disney. Yeah, I've seen it with my own eyes. His frozen head. Isn't Disney one of those ones who brought Star Band and all the sort materials and all of the GL content stuff rather than making a woke TV show? Yeah, they got rid of all that stuff. Now what they do is they cherry pick from it. They cherry pick from those things. Way to get Disney fixed is to burn to the ground and rebuild it. Isn't that really fixing it, though? That's just starting over. Yeah, I do remember that now, Jesse. Yeah. They got rid of all of that stuff, though. The parks make a majority of the money. Oh, they make all the money. They made $28 billion, Salty. That's the only profitable thing. The parks are the only profitable thing. Everything else is losing money for them. Boss says, I hate how every show, the movie, has a gay couple now, and get some of the people that make choices in life for the freedoms. I'm okay if they put gay people in the shows and stuff, boss. What I don't like is when they take characters that are pre-existing and they change them, race swap, gender swap, relationship swap, right? Like that's the issue I have. I have no problem if you want to tell stories and relationships and stuff like that, go for it. But when you tell like a character that everyone knows and loves and then implement something else to go towards that direction, you're just like, really? Why did you have to do that? You can see that a lot in comics and stuff now coming into the film shows and television shows and movies. You know what I mean? Like they're making Stealth put something in our Discord the other day, like last week or whatever. They're remaking the Flintstones. They're remaking the Jetsons, right? I guarantee you're not going to get the show of the Flintstones that you did before. I guarantee you're not going to get the Jetsons that you had before. Oh, they'll try to they will, Salty. Mark my words, they will reboot Star Wars. They heard Marvel Studios veteran Victoria Alonso exits. No surprise there. She was the one that said it's time for the X-Men to change. She worked for the company for 17 years. She's the one that came out years ago and said it's time for the X-Men to change because she thinks that X-Men means all men. That is the fundamental problem. You know nothing about X-Men, and yet you come out and say that, well, it's time to change. Like, what do you come on. That is the fundamental problem of what it is. Frustrating. X them, X those. Like, people are offended when you say mankind, right? People are offended when you say manhole cover. A city of San Francisco did a maintenance thing where they spent billions of dollars changing the manhole covers to say utility hole. That's true. Look it up. They spent millions of dollars to change the manhole covers because they said manhole covers and they had to change them to utility holes. Excuse me, it's X-Ma'am. All cities in the world weren't built about hardcore men. Yeah. It's a ridiculous thing, man. I try not to get involved with it or say stuff about it, but it's silly. I don't care if you want to make a brand new story, okay? If you want to make a brand new superhero and he's transgender or she's transgender or gay, and then it comes out and then all of a sudden it doesn't make money, right? You can't say that the people that didn't watch it are sexist or racist. People have an option. If it's something looks good, they'll like it. If it doesn't look good, they're not going to watch it. Okay? That's just what it is. That's business in general. My channel right here, okay, is being watched by very few people. If you're here watching, you're watching. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, I understand. That's just what it is. Okay? You can't satisfy everybody. But what they try to do is try to satisfy as most people as possible or get out to the most people as possible. But if I did the exact same thing that all these other people do in the industry, I'd be like, well, there's only 21 people here watching me. That's because the other 300 billion people in the world are all racist against me. Right? Do you see the logic there? Do you see the logic? The people that are not watching me are sexist and racist against me. It's the stupidest argument in the world. It's a manhole cover. That's great. I like that. Some lady complained to the state or something that she won and they had to change it. Change the. You talking about the manhole covers? It's a manhole cover. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. You should try as a new tagline. Refusing to watch me is ageist. That I should, right, Reese? If you're not watching me, you're ageist. You know what I mean? But that's the way the world works now. See, and this is why I don't make like videos and stuff like that. I want to. I do. I don't, because I truly believe that the reason they put the token girl or token transgender or token gay person or in the shows and then make articles about it is because they know they can get more eyeballs on hate watching than actually just putting something out there. Imagine just making a show and putting it out there with those people in it, but not advertising it. They always have to advertise for it because that is the marketing. The marketing is telling you that it's in there, and then people write articles about it, and then people hate watch it, and then people hate respond to it, and they do all these things, and that's how it brings more attention to it. Hence why Velma gets a season 2, because so many people are talking about it, but no one's actually watching it. Yeah, she was offended that it was called Manhole. And she probably didn't even do one manual labor thing in her life. The First Amendment is the most endangered amendment. We don't want to even see it. Yeah. Men built this country, and women used to build up the men that built this country. Not anymore. That's right. Now you shit all over us. Isn't Victoria Alonso just like Kathleen Kennedy, in my opinion? Yeah. Yeah, she is. Did she get fired or did she quit? I don't know the story. I heard that she's not there anymore. Can't call it manual labor. You have to call it manual labor. Luckily, as it continues, these things continues to fail, and they change the face. Yeah, but the longer it lasts, the more conditioned we become. Right? Salty? Like, the more, and then what you don't realize is we think that society is winning because they're changing their ways, but really, like, if you have a kid, and I don't know if you have a kid or not, if you notice your children, you don't think are listening or watching or learning, right? Like you and your wife or significant other might have a conversation, and you think that, well, little Timmy or little Susie is not going to pay attention, and you have a conversation, and then all of a sudden, a couple days down the road, all of a sudden your kid says something, you're like, where'd you hear that? And you forget the conversation you had, and they're like, oh, I heard it from you, and you're like, oh. That is what's happening in society as things are being seen and don't think it's a big deal. People see it and they start getting conditioned to it, and then it becomes just second nature. It becomes learned subliminally through the actions. We're making jokes of it, which is already the starting of just accepting a pal down, even though they change it going on for the worse. Right. it's like we've accepted it because you have to. And this is why I kind of don't talk about it, but you have to talk about it, right? It's like a catch-22. It's a lose-lose, win-win type of scenario. There's an article I read yesterday that said force diversity is woke mentality. Won't be right. That's just I don't want to get in this more of this conversation because we can go down a rabbit hole, or I should say a black hole, a manhole. We can go down a manhole with this conversation. I'm gonna leave it at that, and I do appreciate you coming out. And again, my channel is, I like being open and talking about stuff and having a conversation with you, right? Like I just like turning on the camera and having conversation. And I don't want to say no conversation is off limits, but obviously because of society and certain things, I don't want to like trash my station and make it into a certain, right? We stick with games, we stick with topics. Certain things come up. It's fine. We all have a conversation. If we can be adults about it, right? Be adults about it, and we can have a good conversation. I do appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out with us each and every single day. We have multiple things to do with content. We do gaming content. We do talk show comment. We do podcasts. We do Let's Plays. I have another channel. I do Nerding with 30, which I want to do more with because it's more about pop culture, entertainment type of stuff. We have 30 and Still Gaming, which is doing the simulator type games. So if you like any of these things and you like to support me in any way, shape, or form, you hit that like button. It's absolutely free. Hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. If you want to go above and beyond that, you can become a member. You can do a super chat. You can do any of these things. Whatever you do, whatever you choose, I appreciate you very much for hanging out with us on the conversations. And I'll see you guys tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.